It began with a few simple keystrokes and ended with $81 million vanishing into the shadows of the global banking system. This is not a movie. This is not fiction. This is the story of one of the boldest cyber heists in history. And it almost worked. A country with over 160 million inhabitants, and at its heart, the Bangladesh Bank, the nation's central bank, guardian of billions in national reserves. Within its high-security walls, a small group of employees manage sensitive transactions through a system known as SWIFT, the global backbone of financial transfers. SWIFT is not just a network, it is the circulatory system of the world's economy. Every day, trillions of dollars flow through it, and for decades, it was considered untouchable, unbreakable. But in early 2016, someone decided to prove otherwise. The attackers were not street criminals. They were patient, professional, invisible. For months, they studied the bank's network. They learned its rhythms, its weaknesses, its people. Through a series of phishing emails, they gained initial access. Once inside, they moved calmly, installing custom-made malware designed not to steal, but to manipulate, to mimic legitimate banking requests. Their target wasn't cash in a vault. It was numbers on a screen. Numbers capable of moving millions with a single click. February 4th, 2016, Thursday, the hackers strike. Using the SWIFT system, they send 35 transfer orders from the Bangladesh Bank to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, totaling nearly $1 billion. The money was to be sent to accounts in the Philippines and Sri Lanka. Once there, it would be laundered through casinos and shell companies, disappearing forever into the shadows. The Federal Reserve processed several of the requests immediately. Hundreds of millions began to flow, until something strange caught the attention of an employee. One of the transfer orders had a small, almost invisible mistake. The word foundation misspelled as fandation. This simple typo triggered an automatic review and raised suspicion. By the time the bank reviewed the remaining orders, most had been frozen. But for some, it was already too late. 4 transfers, totaling $81 million, had already been processed. In the Philippines, strict casino privacy laws made it almost impossible to trace the money. Millions were converted into chips, moved through tables, and cashed out in ways that erased their origins. From there, the trail went cold. To this day, only a fraction of the stolen money has been recovered. The investigation pointed to a group known as the Lazarus Group, a cybercrime syndicate linked to North Korea. If true, it meant that a nation-state had robbed a central bank to fund its regime. The heist exposed a truth the financial world had ignored for years. The very systems that power our economy can be manipulated if you know where to look. But how did they manage to break into one of the most secure systems in the world? The attack didn't start on the day of the robbery, but months earlier. The hackers sent carefully crafted emails to bank employees. On the surface, they looked like normal messages with work-related subjects or routine documents. But when opened, a hidden program was executed. That program gave them the key to enter the bank's network. Once inside, they didn't rush. They observed, they listened. They learned exactly how transfers were made, which forms were used, and which hours had the least supervision. Then they modified the bank's own SWIFT system so that their fraudulent orders appeared legitimate. They even manipulated the records so that, for days, no one suspected that money was missing. It wasn't a strike of brute force. It was a strike of precision, a digital surgery that only revealed itself when it was already too late. When the typo triggered the alarms, the atmosphere inside the Bangladesh bank changed in seconds. Calls began pouring in non-stop. From the central offices in Dhaka to the Federal Reserve in New York, everyone wanted immediate answers. Some employees couldn't believe it. They thought it was a system glitch, a temporary error. Others knew that something far more serious was happening. The pressure kept rising. Every passing minute was another minute for the money to vanish without a trace. Executives ordered all operations to stop and every transaction to be reviewed. But there were already confirmed transfers in motion. In a matter of hours, what had seemed like an isolated error turned into a race against the clock to stop one of the largest thefts in history. The Bangladesh bank heist was not just a robbery, it was a warning. It proved that even the most secure systems can be breached, not through brute force, but through patience, intelligence, and surgical precision. $81 million disappeared forever, but the true impact was invisible. The loss of trust, the realization that in the digital world, no one is truly safe. Today, as you hear these words, other attackers are studying new targets. They learn, they wait, and when their moment comes, the next victim might not be a bank thousands of miles away, but something much closer to you. In the 21st century, weapons are no longer made of steel. They are made of code, and wars are fought in silence. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.